What is Mike Tyson's net worth? Mike Tyson is a retired American boxer who has a net worth of $10 million. At his all-time peak, Mike Tyson's net worth was $300 million. As we detail in the next two sections below, during his career, Mike Tyson earned hundreds of millions of dollars from purses and endorsements during his career. He also spent very lavishly and was bilked out of a fortune by former managers/promoters. Mike declared bankruptcy in 2003. According to the bankruptcy filing, he was reportedly $23 million in debt at that point. Even as recently as 2010, Mike was apparently experiencing extreme financial problems. In a 2010 appearance on The View, Mike revealed, "I'm totally destitute and broke. But I have an awesome life. I have an awesome wife who cares about me. I'm totally broke. I had a lot of fun. Going broke, just happened. I'm very grateful. I don't deserve to have the wife that I have, I don't deserve the kids that I have, but I do, and I'm very grateful." Mike was able to make a financial comeback thanks to lucrative appearance fees, movie parts, exhibition matches and investments in the cannabis industry. Mike Tyson was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world in the late 1980s. At his peak, Mike was one of the most famous and highest-paid athletes in the world. He was the youngest champion in history at age 20. ESPN called him the hardest hitter in heavyweight history, and Sky Sports dubbed him the most ferocious fighter to step into a professional ring. Tyson continues to be a relevant pop culture in and out of the ring. Mike has appeared as himself in dozens of movies and television shows over the years, perhaps most memorably in The Hangover and The Hangover 2. He also continues to participate in exhibition fights. On March 7, 2024, it was announced that Mike would fight Jake Paul in July 2024. The bout will be streamed live on Netflix. Early life. Michael Gerard Tyson was born on June 30, 1966, in Brooklyn, New York. Tyson grew up in a rough neighborhood, and his stepfather was involved in crime and gambling. When Tyson was 10, he and his mother moved because of financial issues. By the age of 13, Tyson had been arrested for 38 crimes, often fighting bigger youths who made fun of his voice. Tyson speaks with a lisp. During school, Tyson's fighting ability was discovered by a juvenile detention instructor and a former boxer. After working with a few trainers, he linked up with Cus D'Amato, a trainer who would have an immense influence on the future boxing champ. When Tyson's mother passed away, he was 16, D'Amato became his legal guardian. Breakthrough. Tyson truly arrived on the world stage with a nationally televised fight against Jesse Ferguson. After Tyson caught Ferguson with an uppercut that broke his nose, the result of the fight was clearly inevitable. Tyson won after Ferguson was disqualified for illegally clinching. Another televised event came when Tyson took on Marvis Frazier, a former world title challenger. Tyson won in just 30 seconds with a knockout. In 1986, Tyson beat Trevor Berbick in the second round to become the youngest heavyweight champion in history. In 1987, he defended his title against James Smith to become the undisputed heavyweight world champion. That same year, he took on Pinklon Thomas in a 12-round battle to win the IBF title. This made Tyson the first heavyweight to ever hold all three major belts at the same time. In 1988, Tyson beat Larry Holmes, a former champion, and knocked him out in the fourth round. Tony Tubbs suffered a similar fate that year as he suffered a TKO in the second round. Tyson rounded out the year with a victory against Michael Spinks. Although many pundits predicted a tough fight for Tyson because of Spinks' technical ability, Tyson knocked him out in just 90 seconds. From that point onward, Tyson's career seemed to go downhill. After a number of personal problems emerged, Tyson decided to fire Kevin Rooney, the man credited with building Tyson into a top fighter after D'Amato's death. Although Tyson continued to win fights in 1989, his career would suffer a major blow when he lost to Buster Douglas in 1990. Having lost his mother to a stroke 23 days before the fight, Douglas fought with passion and commitment. In the 10th round, Douglas unleashed a combination that sent Tyson to the canvas for the first time in his career. He was counted out by the referee in one of the most shocking upsets of sporting history. Tyson continued to win in 1991 before legal issues halted his career. After being arrested for rape, Tyson spent 6 years behind bars. During this time, Tyson converted to Islam. Upon release, Mike Tyson was legally required to register as a sex offender. Tyson's comeback was successful at first, and he knocked out a number of opponents to regain 2 of his belts. However, he then lost his WBA belt when Holyfield came back from retirement to deal Tyson a TKO in round 11. Tyson lost again in the rematch when he controversially bit Holyfield twice and was disqualified as a result. Even worse, Tyson had his boxing license rescinded in 1997. In 1999, Tyson returned to professional boxing once again to knock out Francois Botha, only to return to prison for 9 months after allegedly assaulting 2 motorists. When he returned to boxing from prison once again, he knocked out a number of fighters in quick succession, either in the first or second round. In the year 2000, he knocked out Lou Savarese in 38 seconds. Tyson's last professional victory was in 2003, when he beat Clifford Etienne in 49 seconds. After a number of attempted comeback fights, injuries, and defeats, Mike Tyson retired in 2005. Career earnings. In 1987, Mike signed a $27 million 8-fight contract with HBO that ran through his bout against Alex Stewart. Tyson defeated Alex Stewart in 2 minutes and 27 seconds. He then signed a long-term $120 million contract with Showtime that covered several matches, including Holyfield 1 and 2. During his career, Mike earned at least $430 million from fights and endorsements. For years, it has been widely understood that a large chunk of his earnings, at least his pay-per-view earnings, were taken by promoter Don King. A court case would later reveal that Mike's contract with King entitled the promoter to 30% of his earnings. This was technically illegal in Nevada. Mike's largest payday by far was the $103 million he earned fighting Lennox Lewis in 2002. Roy Jones Jr. fight. In July 2020, Mike and Roy Jones Jr. announced they were both coming out of retirement to face each other in a highly unusual exhibition match. The two reportedly struck a deal with a sponsor who ponied up $50 million to put on the fight. Of that $50 million, each fighter could earn as much as $10 million if all pay-per-view milestones are met. Soon after the announcement, Mike claimed he would donate all of his earnings to charity. His representatives soon clarified with the following statement: Mike is committed to charitable causes at this stage in his life. Mike is making a substantial donation to charity to help those affected economically, medically, and socially by the pandemic. The exact amount will be determined after the bout. Personal life. Mike has been married 3 times and has 7 children, one of whom has died. He includes his second wife's oldest daughter, in addition to his 6 biological children. He is a Muslim and practices sobriety. Tyson announced the creation of Mike Tyson's Legends Only League in July of 2020. He formed it in partnership with Sophie Watts and her company, Eros Innovations, to provide retired professional athletes the opportunity to compete in their sport. The first event produced under Legends Only League came in November of 2020 with the Tyson/Roy Jones Jr. fight at the Staples Center. It was the highest-selling PPV event of 2020 and ranks in the top 10 all-time for PPV purchased events. In August of 2022, Mike Tyson made a cameo appearance in the Telugu Hindi movie, Liger. In April of 2022, Tyson made the news when he repeatedly punched a male passenger aboard a JetBlue flight from San Francisco to Florida who was harassing and throwing water at him. He did not face criminal charges. In 2023, an unnamed woman filed a $5 million lawsuit against Tyson, accusing him of raping her in the early 1990s after she met him at a nightclub in Albany, New York. Mansions. In 1996, Mike paid $2.8 million for a 51,000 square foot mansion set on 17 acres in Farmington, Connecticut. Located at 50 Poplar Hill Drive, the mansion was built in 1985 by a realtor who several years later pleaded guilty to fraud and was sentenced to 9 years in prison. In 1992, the home foreclosed and was then bought by a bank at auction for $3.5 million. The bank took a loss in 1993 when it sold the mansion in 1993. That buyer sold the home to Mike in 1996 for $2.8 million. Mike spent millions upgrading the property. He added a nightclub that could fit 1,000 people, an indoor gym, an indoor shooting range, over 100 phone extensions, and an NBA regulation-size basketball court. In 2003, amid a divorce and a bankruptcy filing, the mansion was awarded to his ex-wife Monica Turner as part of their settlement. Turner sold the home to rapper 50 Cent in 2003 for $4.1 million. 50 Cent then spent $6 million on renovations, adding a grotto, infinity pool, movie theater, and helicopter pad. 50 Cent listed the home in 2007 for $18.5 million. He lowered the asking price several times over the next decade. 50 Cent filed for bankruptcy in July 2015. At the time, he was spending $70,000 per month on utilities and maintenance for the property. After several years and further price chops, in April 2019, 50 Cent offloaded the property for $2.9 million. In February 2016, Mike paid $2.5 million for a lavish mansion in Henderson, Nevada. The 1-acre property features a 10,400 mansion. A month later, he put his former Las Vegas area home on the market for $1.5 million. Car collection and Ferrari F50. At the peak of his wealth and power, Mike splurged on a car collection that, at one point, featured over 100 cars. His collection included a $500,000 limited edition Bentley Continental SC. Only 73 of these cars were ever made. He also owned a number of Lamborghinis, Ferraris, a Mercedes-Benz 500, a Range Rover, and a 1995 Rolls-Royce which he later totaled in an accident. He left that Rolls-Royce at an auto repair garage and told them to keep it. One of the most important cars in his collection was a 1996 Ferrari F50. Ferrari only produced 349 F50s and only sent 55 to the United States. Mike Tyson's Ferrari F50 is chassis number 104220. Production on this model was completed on February 13, 1996. In 2001, 2 years before he declared bankruptcy with $23 million worth of debt, Mike sold his F50 to a tech entrepreneur named Kevin Marcus. Marcus was an early employee of a pre-Google search engine called InfoSpace. The F50 traded hands twice more before going up for auction in August 2022. It sold at that auction for $4.625 million. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe for more videos.